Okay. Had to get my shit right for a second, man. Can't be out here playing around. What's up, everybody? It's your boy King Me back at you again with another video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss another video. And as always, if you're already subscribed, you already know I appreciate you. Now let's talk. King. Recent events, we all know what's going on. So here's a little disclaimer here. Yeah, I get on here in these videos and I basically craft what I know and how I interpret things in life in the best words possible. And I say that to say, those of you out there with fresh minds, share that joy. And if you're confused about white privilege, you've come to the right place. That just happens to be one of the things that I'm certified by the University of my motherfucking life to talk about. So let's talk about it. I grew up in Miami, Florida. My mom was an immigrant who migrated to Florida from Haiti, worked her ass off, working multiple jobs. Hustled and went through the process to obtain and best of all earn her citizenship here in the United States. My dad, same story. He and my mom split when I was 5 years old. But look, I'm forever grateful for all the sacrifices my parents made for me. It's safe to say I know about the struggle very well. I don't really have to run down stories of the projects and bread and butter and government cheese and sugar water. As a black man in America, one thing I don't know is I don't know the freedom of moving through a world that removes barriers and shields me from harm. That's just not the life that I live. So I say all that to say, white privilege, it's more than just opportunities. It includes the ability to ignore slavery and racism's legacy and continued impact in several corners of America. If you want the definition, for those of you who want to be smartasses, it's defined as the unearned, mostly unacknowledged social advantage white people have over other racial groups simply because they're white. Now, this ain't a let's get on the white folk video. This is simply to explain and try to maybe get through to those people who think it's not a thing. Wake up call, it is. Now, if you're wondering why this conversation is even relevant at this point, look at the recent events. So I'm going to take this time to attempt to make this a teachable moment because the recent events in DC just kind of just showed you what it is. Now, let's take the recent events in Washington, DC, when the Orange Man's fanboys and girls stormed the Capitol. They breached the U.S. Capitol, federal building, with force, scaling walls. You stupid. And breaking through glass to penetrate even the most tightly protected chambers. Overwhelmingly, they were white and they were male, with these delusional rioters easily making their way past Capitol Police. Like the police was giving hall passes. They was giving out hall passes. We couldn't help but think about the Black Lives Matter demonstrations that took place in DC in the aftermath of the police killing George Floyd. Just one of the many police brutality incidents documented with visual evidence and no justice. And think about those protesters who were subjected to tear gas and pepper bullets on nights that were generally peaceful. Oh, yeah. And let's not forget about the armed military personnel. Yeah, they were there too. And those protesters were largely black. Many more of them were women. So that left people thinking, why did the white male anger seem to elicit less of a reaction from police? Now, Capitol Police did eventually deploy the measures they used in the Black Lives Matter protests. Mike Pence eventually called the National Guard, but only because the Orange Man didn't authorize it. But the privilege is there. They basically let them come in, do their thing, and go on a lunch break. Like, it's just funny how a group of white men climbing walls and tearing up the Capitol can't be controlled. But when black people are protesting, the tanks come out. I know people are gonna try to say this isn't a race thing, but for real, shut the up. It's pure white privilege, pure white male privilege. White men realistically expect that their anger will be validated and that they won't lose any sort of prestige or status for it. Now, if you've made it this far into the video and you still don't see it, don't understand it, how? Let's just narrate with this photo right here. Let's use this guy. After breaking in, he's sitting at Nancy Pelosi's desk. You know what that is right there? You know what that is. White privilege. That's what it looks like. How, you ask? Well, white privilege is breaking into the U.S. Capitol building, proceeding to break into the Speaker of the House of Representatives office, and posing for a photo while allowing your face to be clearly visible, not for 1 second thinking you won't possibly face the rest of your life in prison. That's white privilege, folks. You could see them breaking windows of a federal building, and still they say there's no violence. They don't want to rationalize or hear facts. It's white rage, and it carries an aura of respectability and has access to courts, police, legislators, and governors who cast its efforts as noble, even though they're actually driven by the most ignoble motivations.
Are you proud of what happened here today?
Absolutely. I think we should have gone on in and yanked our senators out by the hair of the head and drug them out and said, no more.
This rage is because throughout American history, white men have been promised a place at the top. They showed up in such large numbers because with the defeat of the Orange Man, that promise is being broken.
So we saw a group of white people, of white supremacists here, thinking that they own a country that they colonized, and therefore they can do whatever they want with it. They think they can storm any building in that country because they believe they own it. They think that they can erect a noose on the side of a building that was built by enslaved Africans in America because they think they have full permission to do so, and did so on camera because they knew the police would do nothing about it. But they do not own this country. They do not own democracy. They don't own us. They are tragically confused, and we will not be intimidated despite the fact that the police did not hold the line today.
The biggest ragers are the ones with the most to lose. Working class white men who Trump has made powerful. Now, understand that it's not just financial means. It's people being able to do things like this and not be held accountable. It exists, and if you choose to ignore it, if you choose to be ignorant on the fact that white privilege exists, it's something that you need to take into perspective and give yourself a minute to actually think about what's being said. Understand what white privilege is, and don't be triggered by the word white. It is what it is. If you were born into an abundance of wealth, great for you. It's not to bash those who are privileged, it's to make you understand that it exists. And it's not a cop-out, it's not an excuse, it's not a reason to not grind and do what you need to do, but it's something that we expect people to acknowledge. There was clearly a difference in how black people are treated when it comes to protesting. If that was any other group, it probably would have been different, but this is what we saw and this is what we know. Let me know how you feel in the comment section. How do you feel about the protest? How do you feel about the action, lack of action that we're taking? Let me know how you feel in the comment section. Till next time, you know the vibes. King. If you like the content, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit me up with a comment right there on the bottom. Get right there on the bottom and write a few things. Get the clickety clacking on the keyboard. And if you already subscribed to the channel, you already know I appreciate you. And make sure you hit that notification bell so that when I put up another video, you'll see it up there. You know what I mean. Hit the bell with the thing, you know, that thing. Yeah, it's King Talk, King Me, you know the vibes. King.